Hello value investors, thank you for joining me. Today I want to talk about the trade desk. My name is Michael and I'm from Deep Value Returns on Seeking Alpha. I want to talk about the trade desk, why right now is the most compelling it has been for some time. I want to talk about its overall landscape and the uncertainty following the stock, and we'll bring it all that together by talking about its valuation. So let's get started. The trade desk put out some very strong guidance, and as you can see here on the screen, it's really put down an acceleration in its top line. Yet, as you know, the stock is down substantially since it's announced this guidance. So here's my point of contention. Everybody is kind of unsure about how the trade desk is going to operate in a cookieless world. Everyone has got to grips with that. That's why the stock is down so substantially in such a short period of time. Now, we know kind of vaguely that the trade desk is trying to operate with its open platform so that it can continue to service ads without having to resort to third-party identifiers. So people have some kind of vague understanding about this, and that's why the stock is starting to kind of recover. But having said that, the trade desk has never really been a very cheap stock. So with that in mind, I think that investors probably should look to average in. And here's my point, right? So right now the trade desk is priced at 25 times forward sales. You're going to say, well, that's not particularly cheap. And I'll be willing to admit that is not particularly cheap. On the other hand, the trade desk has often traded approximately 35 to 38 times forward sales. So right now is the cheapest it's been for a while. And I've been in the past invested in a trade desk. And I know you don't get the trade desk very cheaply. Why? Because the trade desk has a long history of being GAAP profitable. So there are not many companies in tech that are growing at faster than 30% and still GAAP profitable. Also, similarly, the trade desk is cash flow generative. So you have a rare combination of a company growing, being prudent towards its bottom line. So on a rule of 40, the trade desk benches quite well. If you remember, the rule of 40 just measures how well a company is growing its top line or being prudent on its profitability. Companies that are typically growing at a blend of higher than 40%, that means either growing at 40% or higher while being break even or having very large operating margins, if they can reach that multiple, so that valuation, that growth rate, so that they are growing at faster than 40%, that's quite attractive, and the trade desk does quite well here. So you have a company that does well. It's in a very much growing space because, as everyone knows, connected TV is still in its infancy, but it's growing at quite a rapid pace as more and more consumers look to cord cuts. So you have a positive tailwind. You have a company that's led by a CEO that's clearly navigating the company in a difficult environment quite successfully. So I think that all considered, yeah, the stock is not cheap, and it's probably, but at the other hand, it's probably going to be as cheap as you're going to get. Now, many people that look at the space say, oh, you know what, Roku is kind of in the same space, and Roku is priced at 18 times forward sales, and its growth rates are much faster. And I'll be willing to take that on board, yes, but I would also caveat that by saying that it's possible, I don't really know, but it's possible that the terminal value on Roku is slightly smaller because Roku has done amazingly well to be a good aggregator of content, but as more and more companies like Disney and Amazon Video, as more and more of these companies establish their customer base, the need for them to go via Roku and pay some kind of fee to Roku is diminishing. So it's kind of bits of puts and takes, right? So all in all, I don't think that the trade desk is particularly expensive. Another thing that I wanted to say is that when you consider a company such as the trade desk, by you averaging in, you accomplish two things. First, you're increasing your ownership of the company, and that positions your mind as the owner of the company, and it makes you more willing to embrace the vicissitudes of the stock. That's the first thing. The second one, if you average in and you pace this out by about 45 days or so each time you add a bit more to your position, it gives you some room to maneuver at the other end. So your dollar cost averaging works really well. So as always, I hope you found this video useful. Come over to my marketplace if you like. You're welcome to do a totally free trial for 14 days. See if it suits you, see if it resonates with you. I would be willing to reach out to my marketplace and just to see, if I connect to the person, if it makes sense, if the picks make sense, and find out what I'm looking at right now. Okay, hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you next time.